I don't know about where you live, but for me, when I want to get onto the freeway, one of the things that I notice is that where I'm at, they'll actually have stoplights at the end of or in the middle of the on ramp. You stop there in a couple of lines in order to and then you get a green light and it lets you get onto the freeway, right? It's controlled on ramping into the freeway. Very cool stuff. Helps to manage freeway flow, keeps things running smoothly. I'm a big fan. But here's what I'm not a fan of. You ever notice sometimes that someone will line up and then another car will line up and another car will line up and there'll be like five cars all in a line on one light and the other light, there's nobody or just one car. It's like they just line up for no good reason just to step into the queue. Well, when it comes to wireless networking, we've got a similar issue. And the issue is this: devices that are dual band capable, that could operate at the 2.4 or 5 gigahertz range, maybe we're talking about 802.11n devices, for example, will end up kind of all lining up in the 2.4 gigahertz range. They could use the faster and more available 5 gigahertz range, but they're not. Oh man, just makes you frustrated. So what Cisco did is they have a feature that you can enable whereby the clients that send their probe requests that get forwarded up to the wireless LAN controller, remember you got a WLC operating here in the background, will delay sending those wireless LAN controller pieces of information back to the clients until the it'll delay sending 2.4 gigahertz range signals until the 5 gigahertz signals have been sent first. See, normally we'll send back the responses at both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, and therefore everyone just jumps on the 2.4 gigahertz bandwagon. But by delaying 2.4 gigahertz sending in the new model, then if you're dual band capable, by sending 5 first and delaying 2.4, your devices will jump on the 5 gigahertz bandwagon. Which is where we want them to be, and only if they've been configured or restricted to only use 2.4 would they then be associated with that lower bandwidth frequency range. Okay, sounds good. There's only one consideration of this, and that is that specifically it does delay the overall probe response mechanism. So if I have anything that is a real-time based device, real-time configuration, voice and video in a real-time chat, something like that, I do not want to use this because this will initially slow it. That's not that big a deal. But what happens when I start roaming and I'm in the middle of a call and this delayed probe response mechanism happens? I can start losing connections. So you do not want to use this in a real-time communication network. You do not want to use Cisco Band Select, this particular feature. But in other situations, it's great to help steer things into the preferred 5 gigahertz range, which is where we want to start parking more of our traffic these days. Keep in mind consequences, right? Easy feature to turn on. Should I? I mean, makes you use 5 gigahertz. That's good, right? Oh, but there's this real-time consideration. You got to know what data is actually moving on your network before you start turning features on. You really do. And if I'm taking an exam, it's another thing to be aware of. For any feature, what are the consequences of turning that feature on? Just something to keep in mind as you're learning about different services and components within your wireless framework.